Hello everybody, it's your favorite professor. What's my name? Kyle, exactly. Y hoy describo la estructura para intermedios, para ir de intermedio hasta avanzado. Voy a hacer este video en el inglés, un inglés sencillo, porque si eres intermedio, aun si apenas entraste a esta etapa, deberías entender la mayoría de lo que voy a decir. Ya, si eres principiante y solo quieres saber más o menos lo que pasará cuando vas de principiante hasta intermedio, pues por suerte he escrito un blog para todos, no solo principiantes. Y el blog tiene una versión en inglés y también en español. Entonces en la descripción abajo de este video ustedes pueden haz clic y leer el blog sobre esto. Pero esto es para intermedios, entonces comenzamos en inglés. First of all, congratulations. You are no longer a beginner. You are now an intermediate. Give yourself a pat on the back. But how are you going to get through this stage so you can become an advanced student and move even closer to fluency? Well, luckily I'm here to help you out. First thing is frequency. How often should you be going to classes? How many classes should you take per week? And for how long? Well, you are no longer a beginner student. Your brain should now be used to listening to English, basic English. It's not going to be used to really advanced English, but it should be used to basic English. So when you go to class, it will no longer be as difficult to listen to a teacher speak English for an hour. So if you're a student who has a private teacher and you do one-on-one private classes, you no longer need 30-minute classes. You can probably do 60-minute classes at this point without burning out and your brain shutting down after 30 minutes. As well, since you now have a good foundation of English, you shouldn't need to take as many classes per week. As a beginner, you should have been taking 5 to 6 classes a week, forcing your brain to adapt to this new language. Now your brain, again, is used to English. You don't need to force feed it like you did as a beginner. So I would say three classes per week. If you really want to study hard, you can do 5 classes a week. But always remember, do not overstudy. Overstudying is bad because first, your brain will not be able to process the information. Remember, your brain is a muscle, and muscles need time to recuperate. So if you take too many classes, your brain is not going to recuperate from the previous lesson, and you will forget everything that you could have learned. So 3, maybe 5 classes a week if you really want to study, and 60-minute long classes for students with a private teacher. For students in an institute or a university, yeah, you could take classes of 60 minutes again, or if you have the option, a 90-minute class, you should be able to handle it. Second thing is classes. Do you need to take classes? Because I know lots of you want to study by yourself at home, or going to an institute, getting a private teacher, or even an online institute can all be expensive options. Now, I never said this for the beginner video, and I wish I would have. As a beginner, I do believe you can get through the beginner stage by studying at home by yourself. There are so many good resources, both free and paid, online on your phone that you can use to get through the beginner stage. There are video courses, there are apps, there are audio courses, many things you can use to get through the beginner stage by yourself. And combining different tools together, I do believe that anybody can get through the beginner stage by themselves. But as an intermediate, I would advise you against doing everything by yourself. You can still learn by yourself, but I would not do everything by yourself, because it's very important in this stage that you start getting some guidance. You get guidance from somebody so that you're not picking up bad habits as you're learning English. You don't want to be like your favorite professor, making really silly mistakes with the subjunctive. I make lots of mistakes with subjunctive. For me in Spanish, making mistakes with the simple past and the imperfect past. It's better if you learn from a teacher so you don't make these mistakes. Why do I make these mistakes? Because I never had anybody teach me these things, or at least reinforce these things, so I didn't pick up these bad habits. And now, if I want to fix these things, it's very difficult, because now my brain is so used to talking bad Spanish that every time I try to fix it, my old habits are fighting with my good habits. Not good. So you can learn by yourself, but please take some classes just so you can make sure that you are not making any big mistakes when you're speaking English. But of course, remember, make sure they are a certified English teacher. You can't trust every gringo you meet on the street that they're going to be able to teach you how to speak like a gringo. I get messages from students who tell me, "Hey, profe, this gringo told me that there's no difference between have and has." Yeah, actually, I did get a question like that. And I think for most of you, the first thought in your head is he stupid? So yes, not every gringo is a certified English teacher. Most gringos have no clue how the language works. They just speak it. So make sure that you are learning from a certified English teacher who actually knows what they're talking about. Third thing is grammar. As a beginner, you shouldn't have been learning grammar. As an intermediate, you can now begin learning grammar. And why do I say this? Like you've probably heard a million times, when you learn a language, you are like a baby. So right now you're English. As a beginner, you were a baby. Now you're intermediate. You're about 5, 6, 7 years old. And you are now ready to start taking grammar classes. As a baby, were your parents going up to you and saying, "Jorgecito, okay, vamos a aprender sobre el presente perfecto. ¿Estás listo? Sí, ok. ¿Qué viene primero? Sí, verbo auxiliar. Ok, ¿qué viene después? Ayudado. Oh, perfecto. Eso es que pasado participo. Bien. Buen trabajo, Jorgecito." No! Your parents never did that. And you shouldn't be doing that when you are an adult. Now, I don't agree with a lot of people who make this connection between when you were learning English as a baby and now you're an adult. You are a different person. You are no longer a baby. You are an adult. So in many ways, you should be able to learn more efficiently. But I do think this is a valid point, and this is why I say, do not learn grammar as a beginner. Learn the basic things first, just like when you were a baby. And once you are mature enough, and now as an intermediate you are mature enough, begin learning grammar. As well, remember, or don't remember, I've never said this before, this is exclusive for this video, the first time. If you are in an English class and the teacher is teaching an English class from beginning to end about pure grammar, so pure grammar from beginning to end, this is not a good teacher. No teacher should ever focus purely on grammar for an entire class. Now, grammar could be the central theme, but it should always connect to real life examples. You need to know why we use it. If your teacher is teaching you the past perfect or the present perfect or the past continuous and they're not explaining when to use it in real life, then your teacher is not a very good teacher and you are wasting your money. Your teacher should be teaching you how to use this in a real life context or showing real examples of when I would use this grammar in real life. So start learning grammar, but do not make grammar your entire focus of the stage. Grammar is just something extra that will help you sound more native and more fluent. Fourth thing is pronunciation. As a beginner, you learned how to pronounce the essential sounds of English. You should have mastered them. And now it's time to begin learning how to put emphasis in the correct syllables in words, as well as the right emphasis in the correct words in sentences. This will help you immensely to sound more like a native. Just like when I went to Bogota, and I was saying Bogota, yes, I like Bogota. And very quickly, the Rolos, los Bogotanos, they told me, Profe, no es Bogota, es Bogotá, Bogotá. So emphasis, very important for whatever language. And this is the perfect stage to begin mastering correct emphasis. Fifth thing is reading and writing. I didn't want you reading and writing as a beginner because as a Latino, you're gonna get confused because in Spanish there is a almost perfect connection between written Spanish and spoken Spanish. What you guys write down is exactly what you guys are gonna say. English, there is no connection, hardly any connection. And that's why it was important as a beginner that you learn how to listen to English. You learn how to pronounce English first before you start reading and writing so that you don't get the Spanish way of doing things mixed up with the English way of doing things. They're completely different. But now you should know how to pronounce most words correctly. You should not get confused when you read or write something in English and confuse it with how you say it. You should now be able to separate the two different systems from each other. There's a writing system in English and then there is a speaking system in English. They are separate. And now you should be ready to start reading and writing. And this is especially important if you plan on taking a TOEFL or IELTS exam because there's the reading section and there is the writing section. And the writing section task is writing an essay. So very important that you learn this or start learning how to write in this stage. Learn how to write a good sentence and paragraph, as well begin reading short texts. If you're taking classes, your teacher should be teaching you these things at this point in time. Conclusion is at the end of the intermediate stage, you should be able to speak confidently about the past, the present, and the future. As well, you should now be able to give your opinion about very simple topics. And that is my framework for getting through the intermediate stage of English. Of course, remember, if you are taking classes or self-teaching yourself with online courses or applications, you still do need to be doing extracurricular things, watching series, watching movies, listening to music, talking to gringos, listening to gringos, reading, whatever it is, you still need to be practicing. You still need to practice outside of class if you want to advance quickly. When it comes to English, just like anything else in life, it's about momentum. If you want to get to your destination as quickly as possible, you need to be continually moving forward. So no matter how tired you are, no matter how much you may want to quit, remember, Just do a little bit every day, and it will give you the right momentum to learn English quickly, and now that you have my framework, efficiently. So if you are an intermediate and you agree with what I've said, or you think my framework is a great framework, then give the video a thumbs up. If you are an advanced student and you have your own opinion about my framework, well, you can give it to me down below. And of course, if you have any questions, write them to me down below. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And as always, I'll talk to you soon, my dear students.